Everyone remembers all too well the damage that Hurricane Richard brought 2010 when it ripped through central Belize on October 24th, tearing down houses, blocking roads, and flooding out portions of the low-lying plains. 2 lives lost were directly linked to the Category 1 hurricane as well. This Wednesday marks the start of the 2011 Atlantic hurricane season, and forecasters predict that it's going to be another above-active year, with 16 storms, 9 of which are projected to become hurricanes, and 5 of them major ones. Chief Meteorological Officer Dennis Gonges says that there are lessons that should be learnt from the wrath of even a Category 1 storm, such as Richard.
Take Hurricane Richard, events from Hurricane Richard, and use that as a guidance to make your preparations for this year. And we should build on what our experiences from Hurricane Richard and the other 2 systems that affected us last year. We should build on those experiences and to assist us in preparation for this year's activity. So we need to already have our plans in place, what we'll do, where we'll go, what we'll take with us. All that should already be in place so that when the evacuation order comes, we can just grab our bags and head to our nearest shelter or designated shelter. Although the forecast numbers don't tell where systems make landfall, the predictions for active season means a higher probability that you will be impacted by one of these systems.
And while there is nothing thus far on the horizon threatening to strike, June 1st is just 2 days away. When he appeared on Love FM's morning show today, Minister of NEMO, MELVIN HULSE, said that a major part of NEMO's focus is getting the shelters ready.
We constantly upgrade. We go through to every village and every town and every place. We look at what buildings are there. We also, before I forget, what we need to understand, there are places that we did not see a lot of activities because there are places that we have accepted that if a hurricane coming, if a hurricane or even which a hurricane, once you get to a certain wind speed, come of a certain magnitude, we are going to evacuate that. There are 30 areas in this country that we are going to evacuate, period. Yeah. We had 65 places, but what we have been physically doing in respect to shelters is been looking at areas where we have been fixing, strengthening our buildings. We have been taking off roofs, we have been putting hurricane shop, we have re-strengthened a lot of, I have been focusing primarily on schools.
But while the shelters on the list are structurally sound to withstand up to a Category 2 hurricane, in Belize City, the most densely populated community, the shelters will not be repaired in time for the start of the season. This is according to City Engineer Benjamin Mendoza, who told us last Friday in front of St. John's Primary School that the list of shelters for this year is just being finalized.
We're working hand in hand with the Housing and Planning Department. We should have the official list by next week, but we are at one of the schools that is on the shelter list, and as you can see, we have some small repairs that we need to do on the roof. The entire zinc is deteriorated, and well, I am saying this is one of the worst schools on the official list. Structural wise, they have the capacity to withstand. The only thing that is the roof. The roof is a weak link within it. So if one zinc tends to come off, then the rest will follow. So, and if we can see that the roof is in a deteriorated state, probably the nails are in a deteriorated state. So
that will be replaced?
Well, that should be replaced.
As for the tracking of storms, Gonges says that the Doppler radar that Belize installed last year should provide us with adequate warning time.
We are entering into a neutral phase, so the El Niño, La Niña effect will have very little impact on this year's hurricane season. The only driver we could probably look at is the sea surface temperatures, which are running about a degree to 1.5 degrees above normal. And tropical cyclones use sea surface temperatures as their source of energy.
That's not connected to the La Niña, El Niño effect?
Not directly. Like I said, we're heading towards a neutral phase, neither a La Niña nor El Niño, so there won't be any major influences from that phenomenon.
Once the warning is given of the threat of a hurricane, Mendoza says that whoever goes to the shelters need to stock up on basic items.
The major things that people should take to a shelter is food, water, the most essential, battery packs, radios, flashlights, lanterns with kerosene, the least objects, the least TV, clothes. You don't need that you can come back to that if it's still there, but your life is most important.
Okay. And this should last for how long, the food stocks?
At the minimum 3 days.
The advice to everyone as the season bears down upon us is to listen frequently to the local television and radio stations for updated reports on the progress of any storm approaching our coastline. Reporting for Love News, I am Marion Ali.